Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making fast and easy Mapo Tofu. To start this dish, we need 1 package of silken tofu. We're just going to use a butter knife to chop this down into small blocks, just running it lengthwise, widthwise, and then straight through the middle. We also need to chop up 2 scallions, separating the whites and the greens because we're going to cook the white parts and garnish with the green parts. We're going to smash up a 2.5 inch piece of ginger and give this a nice little mince. 4 cloves of garlic. We're going to smash these as well. Catching any that are trying to escape. And give these a nice mince. And we're going to put this in a separate bowl because it's going to go in at a different time than the ginger. We also need 2 fresh chilies and 4 dried chilies. We're just going to break up the dried chilies, leaving the seeds in, removing them if you don't want as much heat, and then just giving the fresh chilies a little choppity chop, and those can go into the same dish. We also need 1 teaspoon of Szechuan peppercorns, giving this a nice little grind. This is going to add that numbing effect. And this is spicy bean paste. You can find this in your Asian grocery. Other ingredients we're going to need are a pound of ground pork, 1/4 teaspoon of sesame oil, 2/3 of a cup of low sodium chicken broth, 1/2 cup of neutral oil. We're also going to make a slurry with 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch, mixing that around in 1/4 cup of water. Now we're on a stove in a small pot. We're going to add 1/4 cup of our neutral oil, add in our fresh and our dried chilies, and we're going to let this stir fry for 5 minutes. It is going to get smoky, so turn on your oven vent if you have one. After 5 minutes, we can take this off the heat and set that aside. And in a large wok, we're going to add the remaining 1/4 cup of our vegetable oil. We're going to add in our ginger and stir fry this for 1 minute. Before adding in our garlic, letting that stir fry in for an additional minute. Before adding in our ground pork, and we're going to cook this and break this up until this is cooked almost all the way through. And we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of our spicy bean paste, our chicken stock, and we're going to let this cook for about a minute before adding in our cornstarch slurry. And we're going to cook this a little bit more until this sauce starts to thicken up. Once you notice that the sauce is thickened up, we can add in our chilies along with the oil. Give this a really good stir before adding in our silken tofu. And now you want to stir this gently because you don't want to break up those tofu cubes. Some will break up, that's inevitable. We're going to let this cook for an additional 5 minutes. Just start heating that tofu before we add in our 1/4 teaspoon of sesame oil and our scallion whites, along with a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. This is going to balance out the spiciness in the dish. We're going to gently cook this for an additional 2 minutes, and then we are ready to plate. Now I have a nice bowl of steaming white rice here. We're going to add in as much of our Mapo tofu as we desire, sprinkle with our scallion greens, and this is looking gorgeous. So let's go ahead and give this a taste. You definitely get the numbing effect from the Szechuan peppercorns. The pork adds a nice meatiness to this. You taste the ginger and the garlic in this as well. That spicy bean paste has done its job. Let's get in here with a spoon. You don't have to eat the dried chilies. You can if you'd like to. My partner loves that, but they're very, very spicy. But this is satisfying, spicy, and absolutely delicious. And pretty easy to make. But there it is, Mapo Tofu. I hope you all try to make this in your home. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really do appreciate it. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you loved it, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell because I put out new videos every Thursday. Thank you again, and until next time, happy cooking.